The user will give the input. Based on this input, my program has to go to the database, scan whatever is required, in the database, get the data, and display it on the screen. So your functional team will tell you what fields they want in the output. So we have to write a logic here to club all the three. This is the main business logic. So now we are learning this business logic. How to get that? We have to take the input from the user, get the data from the database, and display. So now for this we have to use something called as SQL statements. SQL statements used to interact with database. So we have SAP supports two types of SQL. First one, OpenSQL. Second one, native SQL. Native SQL. SQL supports both type of SQLs. So we have to understand what is the difference between OpenSQL, native SQL. Database independent programs. Database independent programs are are called as database independent statements. These are database dependent statements. So SAP was introduced almost 50 years back. So recently in this February March, SAP has celebrated the 50 years. So all this out of 50 years, nearly 40 years, SAP don't have its own database. SAP don't have its own database. So for 40 years, SAP was always depending on other database. Now, which database your company uses? Example, we are not sure that my company is earlier days. So it's around 80s. Before Oracle came into picture, companies used to use DBase. Or some companies used to use Sybase. At that time, before Oracle came into picture, Sybase was very popular. So companies used to use the database as Sybase or DBase. From 90s onwards, once Oracle took the control, Oracle became popular. So companies started using Oracle or MySQL. Oracle and MySQL. So company to company, what database they will use. SAP is not strict about the database. Your company can use any database you want. Example, our institutes are using, if you want to know your database, you can say system status. If you log on to SAP and say system status, you will get what database your company is using. Right now, our institutes are using my MS SQL, Microsoft database. But if you come to the company's real time, all the companies will use Oracle database or HANA database. So right now, forget about HANA. We are discussing about the ECC systems. Maximum companies will use Oracle. So now when I'm writing a program here, SAP supports both type of SQLs. So it's like OpenSQL. This is like native SQL. Now let's assume olden days, your company was using Sybase. Olden days before 80s. So if you are using 80s architecture, we used to write the code, all the select statements specific to Sybase. So these commands are specific to these select statements are specific to Sybase. So we were using keywords related to Sybase. Now this type of statements are called as native SQLs. Native SQL, database specific. After few days, Sybase stopped its. Now, if you ask Sybase right now, no one knows what is Sybase. Also, it was stopped after Oracle became popular. Sybase was stopped because of losses. So this company does not exist. Now your company is using Oracle. this program won't work because Sybase commands won't work with Oracle. So ultimately, now I have to change this program also again. So database specific keywords, disadvantage, database specific database dependent statements. If the database changes, we have to change the program. So we are designing database dependent programs. So because of these two that these now tomorrow, let's assume your company is using more sophisticated now in the future, better than Oracle came into picture. Your company want to use that, but your programs won't support. You have to recreate all the programs what you are creating. But instead of you create open SQL statements, these are database independent statements. So we are trying to create a program which is independent of any database. Independent of any database. So I am writing open SQL statements here. A generic statements. A generic statements. Now whenever you execute generic statements, there is something called as interpreter. DB interpreter, database interpreter. DB interpreter. What is the work of this DB interpreter is it will convert the OpenSQL statements into native SQL statements. It indirectly acts like a translator. It indirectly acts like a translator. Now I am writing a generic program. Now my interpreter will take care of converting. Tomorrow, whatever database you want to use it. My middleware, this DB interpreter will convert it into the native SQL. So the communication will be done using native SQL. This process is bit slow because every time the DB interpreter has to convert and then interact. So it is bit slow. But when you see the advantages are more. I am not making my program database specific. Database my program is generic program which can work with any database. Today I am using Oracle, tomorrow I will use something else, day after tomorrow I will use something else, but I need not change the program. In real time we'll be writing at least minimum to minimum 1,000 programs. If you change the database, all these 1,000 programs won't work earlier. But right now it is not like that. So my company is free to use any database you want. So till 40 years, till 40 years, first 40 years, SAP was saying not. SAP always says use OpenSQL only. So if you write OpenSQL statements, your program will be database independent. You need not write the programs again and again. But once HANA came into picture, HANA came into picture. Now no one was buying HANA system, HANA database. No one was buying HANA database. So it's a loss for them because all the companies got habituated of using the third party database. And once you compare HANA and Oracle is far advanced than HANA database. HANA database still have lots of drawbacks. Still it is not stable. Lots of bugs are there. So companies are feared to use the HANA database. So because no one is using HANA database, SAP has kept a rule. So actually, what SAP has done is in around 2005, SAP has announced that after now around not around 2005, around 2010 to 12, 2010 to 12, it announced that 2020, after 2020, it won't support third-party databases. Everyone has to use HANA. But by 2020, the system was not ready. The HANA system was not ready. So they extended to 2022. But because of the pandemic, the corona, etc., the entire things got unstable. So right now they have extended the time to 2027. After 2027, SAP does not support other databases. That's what SAP is claiming. But if the date get extended, we can't do anything. So you have 5 years down the line where you have to learn the HANA specific. So HANA specific is nothing but native SQL. Right now in ECC we are using OpenSQL. So after 2027, if SAP does not supports Oracle or MySQL, etc., you have to write the program with native SQL only. So SAP is doing by force. Everyone has to buy. If you are using SAP, you have to buy HANA. So that's the reason these days companies are hiring people who knows HANA. But right now we have more projects with ECC system than HANA system. If you take 100 projects, out of 100 projects, 95 projects are ECC projects, 5 projects are only HANA projects. So as of now, you need not worry. But slowly companies are shifting to HANA. So down the line, within 1 or 2 years, if you learn HANA, it will be advantage for you. So we are using ECC. So we will use OpenSQLs only. OpenSQL statements. So the important OpenSQL statements, what we will learn. SAP ECC uses OpenSQL statement. Now in this OpenSQL statements, we will be using select, insert, update, delete. These are the 4 commands we will be using in SAP. There are many other SQL statements available, but all those we don't use. We'll only use 4 commands in SAP. So you should know these 4 commands. So select is to get the data from database. Insert, to insert a new record into database. Update, to change existing record in database. Delete, to delete existing records in database. That's it. So these are the things we have to learn. But the first 1 month, we will be behind this select. From today, next 1 month, we'll be behind this select. After that, we'll do it. So if you consider all SAP programs, if your company is writing 100 programs, out of 100 programs, in 90 programs, we use select statement only. In 90 programs, we'll use select statement only. Only 10 programs you will be using here, these things. So first we'll concentrate on different cases, case studies. So next 1 month is about reports. So in reports, we'll only get the data. So select statements. So syntax of select statements. Syntax of select. Select is used to get the data. Select. Select. Field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, so on. From your table, from database table into your variables, variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, variable 4, where some condition, and select. Example, select employee ID, name, city, phone from your table, whatever table you have created, ZZEMP, into one variable for EID, variable for name, variable for city, variable for phone, where city equal to Hyderabad, where city equal to Hyderabad, and select. And then we will use the right statements. So select will have and select. So this indirectly acts like a loop. This indirectly acts like a loop until all the records from Hyderabad. How many records are there in Hyderabad? Until it writes all the records, the program will hit the database again and again and again. Get the first record, write the data. Get the second record, write the data. Get the third record, write the data. Like this, we have to write the data one by one. So this is what it is. So let's see the code. So my requirement is, so when we are using OpenSQL only, database interpreter will come into picture. When we use native SQL, database interpreter won't come into picture. The code will get executed directly in the database level. So HANA runs in this model. When we are teaching HANA, we will teach this native SQL. When we are teaching normal reports, we use OpenSQL. Now remember one thing, whether it's HANA or normal ABAP, reports, interfaces, conversions, enhancements, forms are same. HANA is a database, that's it. Remaining ABAP program will remain the same. That means reports are same, interfaces are same, conversions are same, enhancements are same, forms are same. That means in SAP we have these areas are same. Only how we are getting the data from the database changes. We are using OpenSQL here. In HANA we use native SQL. That's the only difference. So learning HANA is very simple condition if you know the core ABAP. If you know core ABAP perfectly, that means the first 4 months course, if you perfectly do, exactly it will take 3 weeks of time to complete all the keywords in HANA. 3 weeks. And UI5 will take 1 month. That means 4 weeks. So to faculty, how he teaches will differ. So 3 to 4 weeks roughly. Any topics, advanced concepts are very simple. We can learn easily. But first thing is learn the basics correctly. So now let's see. My requirement is for the given city. For the given city, I want my output like this. Employee details, some heading, some date, sometime, and followed by employee ID, name, city, phone with rows and columns. Rows and columns. So this is what my requirement, my output. So now don't ask me how to draw this horizontal vertical lines. We have completed this horizontal vertical lines last week, but we have not seen how to put the data inside this. So now we have to put the layout along with the data. So if this is the case, what shall we do? So now opening AC38. Now I am using the table what I have already created. But please, when you are creating, create your own table so that your table design also will be revised. Create your own employee table. Already I gave you this assignment. Create employee tables, education tables, etc. If you already created that tables, use those tables. If you have not created those tables, recreate the tables. So your database fundamentals will be revised. So now I am using this employee table. Please don't change anything in this table. If you are lazy enough to practice, drop the course. Don't change anyone else table. If you have created that table, you can do whatever experiments you want. So regularly I'm getting this complaint, sir, someone changed my program, someone changed my table. So they have created
Is there,
that table for
is
their
there a
record.
way, sir? Is there a way we can
Yes.
lock the table?
No, we cannot.
Okay.
So now let's see this. So open your SE38 slash o SE38. So remember one thing, your functional team will tell you this is the client's requirement. What the client wants, the client will explain to the functional team. Your functional team will tell you the following, how the screen should look like, how the output should look like. They will give the fields. I want these fields in the output. So we have to get the fields in the output. How many input variables? How many input variables? How many
One.
input variables?
Or sir.
One.
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 Input variables, parameters. One. How
One.
many output variables?
One, two,
Four.
three.
Six, sir.
One. One, two, three,
Eight.
four,
Five.
five, six. Why? This is heading. This is
Yes, sir.
heading.
Okay. Okay, sir.
This is only heading. Date is one variable, time is one variable, plus these four variables. So six output variables. First, the developer should know how many input variables, how many output variables he should declare. So in this program, I require one input variable. Input variable will be declared with parameters. Output variable will be declared with
Data.
data
Data.
keyword.
Data.
So now I'm coming to my program. I'm creating Y8B report 14 create. It's already there. So 15 create. It's also there. 16. Employee report. Give a meaningful name. Employee report. Type executable. Save. Today is only an introduction to select statements. So we will go deeper. We will go deeper later. So in tomorrow's class, we will go much deeper. If you don't practice today's topic today, tomorrow it will be confusing. So now this is my editor. Now here we are writing some programs. So now I require some variables. First we'll see output variables. First we have to see output variables. So I am declaring one keyword data. I want first, we will see later what is this date and time. We will see variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, variable 4. So I want one variable v underscore employee ID. Now this data, this data will come from the database. In the database, already we have created a table, some ZZZEMB table. Let's assume while creating this table, you have taken employee ID as 12 length. Now, employee ID will be how much length in the output screen?
Same. 12 only.
Same. So, how much length we have to declare the variable?
12.
12.
So, first go to your table and see what data type you have declared for EID. I have declared numc length 10. You might have declared something else. So whatever you have declared, that length should be there here. So now I have to declare a variable how much length? How much length?
10.
10.
10.
10.
10.
What data
Type
type? What
10.
data type?
Yeah.
Type N.
Type
Now,
N. So this we call it as predefined data type. I can declare a variable with predefined data type. This is one way of declaring the variable. Second way of declaring the variable, v underscore eid type. Already I have
okay.
created a data element. Already we have created a data element. So you understood, you know what is data element, right? In the data element, we are already creating the properties. I want numeric length 10. So
Yes.
what we can do? We can take data element. We can take data element. So this is refer to data element. Now anything we use double quotes. Right side to the double quotes is comments. So just to make you understand this program, I am writing some comments. I can declare a variable with predefined data type. I can declare a variable with data elements. I can declare a variable like so and so type. There is a table called as YYZEMP. In that table, there is a field called as EID. How that field is there? There is a table called as employee table. In that employee table, there is a field called as EID. How that EID variable is there? Declare the variable in the same way. So we call this as table reference with type operator. type keyword. So table reference with type keyword. Now data v underscore eid like yzemp eid. This also table reference with like operator. Like operator. So I can declare a variable in these four ways. A variable or parameters can be declared in following ways. So table reference, predefined, etc. Now note 1. Always prefer to use data elements. So which one is the best way? This is the best way. This is the best way. Why that is the best way I will explain you after 5 minutes. Now note 2. Like keyword is obsolete. What is meant by obsolete? Mark
Now not in use.
for deletion. So SAP is planning to remove this keyword soon. So SAP says don't use it. It has some issues. So this has memory issues. So it has side effects, more side effects. So once they observed the side effects, once they affect the side effects, they came up with a type keyword. So SAP says always use type only, don't use like. But if you see old programs, very old programs, they are using like. If you don't explain this keyword, somewhere you are seeing that program, you will get confused what is the like operator doing. What the type is doing, the like is also doing the same, but it has some memory issues. So in the future topics, after 15 to 20 days, there will be one memory issues, memory topic will come. At that time, I'll be explaining what memory issues are there. But right now, blindly mug up, we should not use like operator. We should always use type operator. So now, let's assume I am using this way of declaration. Whenever my variable, whenever I have to declare my variable, my system has to go to the table and see where is EID, where is EID, where is EID. It has to search where is EID. Then using that field, it has to go and search what is the data element. Then using the data element, it has to go to inside the data element, and then it has to take the data type and then declare the variable. That means if you are saying where is your nose, you are revolving round and round. There is a earth, on that earth I have two legs, like this you are telling where is your nose, means indirectly. That's what you are saying indirectly. It is bit slow, so your program is becoming slow. So always the best way of defining is data elements. Now let's assume you created one table earlier with a data element of 5 length. You declared one data element of 5 length and then use that in the program. So in the program, you are declaring 5 length only. In the program also, you are declaring 5 length only. But after testing, the client said, no, increase the length of this field. Increase the length of this field. So if I increase the length of this field, again, wherever this field is used, in how many programs that field is used, in all the programs, I have to come and increase the length manually. So if I'm using that variable in 100 places, in 100 programs, I have to change that length. Else my program won't work. But if I use data element, if I use data element, if I am changing the length of the data element, whatever length is there in the data element, that will get applied automatically. So automatically in all the 100 programs, the length will increase. I need not change the length in each and every program. So this using data elements will minimize your effort. So always prefer to use data elements. In the first two, three programs, I will use all these ways to declare a variable. But once we come to the next week, in the next week onwards, I prefer to use data elements only. That is the standards. Always we will use data elements only because data elements has more advantages. Data elements have the concepts of domains. In the domains, we have something for validation also. So that means it should have only these values, etc. So we have advantages more. So always prefer using data elements. So this second way is the best way. So now I'm coming to my program and I want four variables. I want four variables. So now I'm declaring one variable for EID. So naming convention, if you don't want to follow the naming convention, don't follow. But in code review, it will get rejected. So all the variables we are naming as v underscore type. So I am declaring the first variable with predefined data type, type n, data one variable per name type. Second variable I am using data element. I am using data element name one, v underscore city. I am using table reference, table hyphen field name. Fourth variable v underscore phone type like the table hyphen variable. So this is predefined data type. This is data element. This is table reference with type keyword. This is table reference with like keyword. Done. I declared the variables. So now I want to design the output. So if this is the output, I want two lines of gap. So what we do? Skip two. I am leaving two lines of gap followed by right somewhere at 40. Somewhere from the left margin, I am putting employee details. Employee details. Then right at somewhere 75. 75 date. Now just beside the date, I want the date. So one way I can write is what is today's date? 21.9.2022. I can write the date like this, but never hard code the date. Never hard code the date, because when I run tomorrow, it should print tomorrow's date. When I print day after tomorrow, whenever I'm running, it should print that date. That means you should print your system date. It should print your system date. So there is one SYST system structure. So in this system structure, there is one field called as SYST-DATUM. The toughest part in SAP is remembering the field names, because this software is designed by German, so all the names will be in German flavor. So automatically the field names will be in German flavor. So if you practice for 3-4 days, for the first time it will be confusing. But if you regularly use that variable, you will get habituated. So what we have to do, whenever you want current server date, whenever you want the current server date, we have to use this field SYST datum. Second one, SYST UZEIT, current server time. Current server time. So now I am going and printing SYST hyphen DATUM datum today's date. For writing the variables, this is like a variable. We don't use single quotes. Then uline, in a new line from 40 of how much length? How much length? Employee details 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I want a line of 15. 15 followed by write at 75 time. Write SYST SYST UZEIT. Check the syntax. Activate. Execute. So at every level, after 3 4 lines of code, if you test it, your errors will get minimized. Some people will write the complete program and then they will do the checks. Lots of errors will there, they'll get confused. So if I execute it, so I got employee details, date, today's date, time 8:42:28. So right now it's 8:42, so it's printing the 8:40:28. So today's date, today's time. If you run tomorrow, it will print tomorrow's date, tomorrow's time. So we'll never hard code the date and time. We will use the system, print the system date, system time. The fields are datum and use it. Slowly, we'll like this. There are many other fields in this structure. One by one, we'll be learning. Whenever the requirement comes, I'll explain you that field. So as of today, we are learning two system fields. Now the system fields are over. System fields are over. Then I want a gap. So again, I'm giving a gap. Skip 2 lines. Next, write at 10 pipe symbol. Pipe symbol. Next, write at 12 employee employee ID. Now, what is the length of the heading? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the length of the heading is 10 length. So now, what is the length of the data? What is the length of the data?
10.
EID length 10. So
10.
heading is also 10 length. This is also 10 length. So I need not worry. So once I am writing the data at 12, 12 plus 10.
22.
So
20.
my data is in ending at 22. So I am leaving 2 characters gap after the data. And then again I'm putting 24 pipe,
24. 5.
pipe symbol. Now write at 26 employee name. So
Sir, is there a way to identify character position, sir? Any other way?
yes,
Pratisari, we are counting, no, sir.
we can later we'll see. We have string length functions that we'll see later.
Okay.
So everything on one day, people will get confused. So I don't prefer to cover multiple topics on the same day. So now here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 are there. So employee heading length is 12 length, but the data length is
30.
so if you don't leave enough space here, what will happen? My name, example, my name is like this. So it's going to the next fields. So how much gap I should give for name field?
30.
30.
30. So 26 plus 30.
56.
56.
After the name, I am leaving 2 characters gap. So at 58, I am putting the
58.
pipe symbol. Pipe symbol. Right at 60. City. Right. What is the length of city?
10.
I have given 10. I have given 10. If you have given something else, 20. Some people are giving 15, 20. Use that. Whatever you have given, use it. So 10 length. 60 plus 10, 70. At
72.
72. Pipe symbol. Right. 74. Phone. Right. Phone number is of 10 length. 74 plus 10. 84. 86.
86.
Pipe symbol. So write in a new line. Above this one U line. Starting from 10. Starting from 10 of how much length?
77.
U line, correct. 10 of 77. So we are ending this line at 86. That means indirectly 87. 0 to 86 is 87. 87 minus first 10 characters, 77. So I want a length of 77. Activate and see what you are getting. So now execute and see what you are getting. Employee ID, employee name, employee city, employee phone. Now what I will do, I will copy the same table as it is. The table positions as it is and kept here. And now instead of this hard coded value, I'll put my variable v underscore aid. I'll put my variable v underscore name. I'll put my variable v underscore city. I'll put my variable v underscore phone. What variables you declared, your variables, your wish, whatever names you want, you can give here. So in my table, my table field name is phone phone, but here I declared as phn. So your variables, your wish. So now whatever variables I declared, I have used it here. But from where my variables will get the data? So what I have to do?
Table.
I have to select. I have to select what is the first field in the table. What I want. I
EID.
want employee ID. So select employee ID. Select name. Your functional team will tell you the fields. Select name. Select city. Select phone. So I want these four fields: EID, name, city, and phone. From which table? From which table?
Z YYZ.
Into. Put the first variable. Put the first EID value into v
V
underscore
ID.
EID, comma v underscore name, comma v underscore city, comma v underscore phone, v underscore phone. So your variables. So the system will map by number. The first field will go to the first field. Second field will go to the second field. Third field will go to the third field. Fourth field will go to the fourth field. Suppose you interchange this order. Suppose you kept the city field here. Now the length of the variable name is 30 characters. 30 characters will come and sit in 10 characters variable city. The system don't know the names. What the system will do? Positions only. First field will go to first field. Second field name is going to the second field. So name will come and sit in this variable, which is wrong. So this is the thing what the developer has to take care. The developer has to give these names carefully. So name city. I am putting a period, full stop, and in the last and select. Check the syntax, activate, execute. So right now I'm not putting any condition. So in my table, if I go to utilities, table contents, display. In my table, there are 6 entries. I have 6 employees. So I have Hyderabad employees, Bangalore employees. So when I execute, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 employees, Hyderabad employees as well as Bangalore employees. In the last, after coming out, I'll put one more underline. Activate. Execute. Execute. So now, I want line after every employee. I want a line after every employee. Now put this inside this. Activate. So how you are placing with your underlines and write keywords is report program. Get the data and write it. Get the data and write it. So earlier we are not printing the data. Now we are printing the data also. Execute. So every employee we are getting. But right now my requirement is not to print everything. In the database tables there is lot of data. I don't want to print everything. I want to print only Hyderabad records. So if you want a condition in a select statement, we can give a condition here where city equal to HYD Hyderabad, where city equal to Hyderabad. Activate.
Double single quotes is not.
1 minute, I have not closed this. We should not use double quotes. Double quotes are treated as comments. So we have to use single quotes. Whenever you are comparing a string, we have to use single quotes. So don't write everything, write only Hyderabad records. So when I execute, it will write only Hyderabad records. So only Hyderabad records. Some people will do this mistake. So what some people will do, while typing, they are typing something like this, HYD. So now one uppercase, two lower cases. But in your database, SAP is storing the data in all uppercases only. So capital HYD is not equal to small HYD. So you won't get any output. Sir, I am not getting the output, sir. Print the syntax is correct, sir. I have done everything correct. So the developer's observation is very crucial. So here you are asking Hyderabad records only, but how SAP is storing the records? SAP is storing the records in a different way. So I am not getting any output, sir. I am not getting any records. You won't get the records. So some people will do this mistake now. They will give here correctly. They will give here correctly. And now they will forget to give forward slash. They will forget to give forward slash. Now here they will give the forward slash. Here they won't give the forward slash. Over. Activate. Execute. So select and select is indirectly like a do and do. Indirectly like a do and do. So this process will repeat again and again and again. When you are repeating again and again and again, one forward slash will disturb your complete program. Sir, I'm not getting the data, sir. I'm getting only underline, sir. You won't get the data. Now, one more mistake people will do. I'm not putting forward slash here. I am putting this U line here. They will write some right statements. Whether it is correct or wrong, they is least bothered. They will check the syntax. If syntax is correct, they will assume that their program is correct. Program does not execute by syntax. So now I am just changing the keywords position. I kept the U line outside and I removed the forward slash. Execute. See what output you are getting. Sir, I'm not getting the output, sir. You won't get the output because it is overwritten, 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 overwritten. So be careful while writing the data. So now this type of programs are called as specific programs. This program will work for only Hyderabad records. Why? Because you have hard coded the variable. Never hard code the where condition. Now, suppose you are writing a program like find the stations from Hyderabad to Bangalore. You are hard coding this like this Hyderabad, source station Hyderabad. Then that program will work for only Hyderabad. It won't work for other locations. So what we do, we will take the input from the user parameters, some name, type. You can take the data element, you can take the predefined data type, you can take table reference, anything you can take, any of these four ways you can do. I am taking data element. I want a field like city. Activate. So now I will get a selection screen. I will get a selection screen. Execute. Selection screen. So whenever we create a selection screen, go to text elements, selection text. Enter a city. Enter a city. Activate. So now the user will enter the city. The user will enter the city. If he want Hyderabad, he will enter Hyderabad. If he want Bangalore, he will enter Bangalore. Whatever city he wants, he will enter. So whatever is entering in this variable, so he is entering the value in the variable, this variable parameters. Use that parameters in the where condition. Use that parameter in the where condition, where city equal to pn. This is table field name. Always the table field name will come in the left side. The input what we are giving should come in the right side. The comparison value should come in the right side. So user is entering something in this variable. Whatever he gives, compare that. If he gives Hyderabad, compare Hyderabad. If he gives Bangalore, compare Bangalore and give me the output. So now my program will work for multiple conditions. Execute. Show me the data of Hyderabad. Execute. Hyderabad data will come. Show me the data of Bangalore. Execute. Bangalore data will come. So 456 Bangalore data. HYD 123 Hyderabad. So this type of programs are called as generic programs. Generic programs. Now end user cannot execute SC38. SC38 is only for developers. So the developers is coming to SC38, giving the program name and execute. But end user cannot execute this program like this. So whenever we complete the program, we have to create a transaction code. How to create a transaction code? What is a
SC90.
transaction? So
We have to create a class.
SC90.
go to AC93 Y8B underscore EMP R1. I am giving some name. Some name. Everything should start with customer namespace. So, or I am giving Y8B underscore employee report 1 EMP R1. Whatever name you want, you can give. Create. So I'm indirectly creating this transaction code. Create. Now I am creating a transaction code for employee report. Now we have to take the second radio button, report transaction, because we are writing a report program. For a report program, you have to take this one, report transaction, second radio button, and click enter. And it is asking the program name. Which program shall I call? Call this report 16. Call this report 16. Don't change anything here. The screen number will always be 1000. Selection screen number is always 1000 only. Don't change anything here. Just we have to select these checkboxes. So you are telling the system that whenever user calls this transaction, call this program, save it, come back and give the transaction code to the user. So how the functional team or end user will execute? They will give the transaction name and execute. And then they will give Hyderabad positive cases, Bangalore negative cases, sorry, positive cases. But we have not handled negative cases. So I'm not getting any negative cases. So to handle that, we have to use if conditions. So already we have learned if conditions. How to use the if conditions, we'll see tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But first understand the basic select statement, how it works. Once you understand it, then we can see the negative cases. So everything on one day will confuse you. So I am avoiding everything in one day. So now if you see the select statements, this entire select statement till the where condition is a one line. So if you want, you can do it like this also. Select from clause, into clause, where condition, so that you can easily understand. A select has four things. Select what fields you want from wherever you want. Into the variables, first field will come and sit in first field, second field to second field, third field to third field, fourth field to fourth field. Now I am giving only three fields, but I am selecting four fields. So if you check the syntax, it will throw error. It is giving something. The list into list must have the same number of elements. Same number of elements. You are selecting four fields, but you are giving only three variables. Give me some more variables. That's what it is saying. So we have to give the third variable. Check the syntax. So I am not putting period every line here because I want to consider these four things as a single line. So I kept the period in the last. So if you are comfortable, write everything in the same line, or you can put everything in like this four different lines and put the period in the last. SAP will assume that these four lines are as a single line. If you put the period in between here only, it will throw errors, syntax errors. So you have to observe carefully and follow. Activate, execute. Over. Program is ready. So now what is your assignment is this? You have to practice this. You have to practice this. Once you practice this, you have to do this assignment. If you can't do also, not a problem, but try to do. So my input screen is employee ID. So user will enter employee ID 1 or 2 or 3 or something like this. Whatever employee enters for that employee, I want the output somewhat like this. Employee report. Date. Time. So today's date, today's time. Example 09 21 09 2022, whatever time you have executed. 0904 21 seconds you have executed. One underline. One underline. Then employee details. Employee ID. Employee name. Employee city. Employee phone. Example. Employee ID 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Employee 1, whatever his name, whatever you stored in the database, that name, city, phone number. Now I want a block here. Followed by employee ID, education, college, year of pass, YOP. Whatever educations that employee has done. Suppose he has done three educations. Employee ID is 1, 2, 3, 4. That employee ID 1, whatever educations, 10th. Employee 1, enter. Employee 1, BSc. Like this, I want from which college he has done, what is the year of pass. So this is the output I am expecting. This is what you have to do. So that's it for me for today. Catch you tomorrow.
And